right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Zero Trust Given. This is your host, Tom Tittermary. I'm here, as always, with my... I'm just going to start over. I was looking for a word, and then...
And it lost.
The word I was looking for was illustrious, and I came up with elusive. And you are also elusive.
It's both, yeah.
I would love if we just kept this in. That would be the funniest part. Hey, everybody. This is your host, Tom Tittermary, back again for another episode of Zero Trust Given, your source and podcast for zero trust data relative to the federal government, the DoD, the system integrator community, and the civilian government. With me, as always, I have my host, Tom Gianelos. Say hi, Tom.
Hey, everybody.
And today with us, we're super excited. We have an old friend. We're going to get into how long we've known this person. Jean-Paul Bergeaux from GuidePoint. Jean-Paul, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Jean-Paul Bergeaux. I've been the CTO for GuidePoint Federal for almost 9 years in May.
Has it been 9 years?
It has been 9 years. Isn't that crazy? And just been doing cybersecurity for the government for probably about 12 or 13. Transferred from industry and just doing infrastructure where we met back in the day, and moved over to cybersecurity and been enjoying it. I really feel like a passion for defending our nation.
Yeah. So Jean-Paul, JP, and I, we were talking about it before we sat down to the studio. A long time ago, 3 jobs ago, I had a radio show on Federal News Radio that was an infrastructure and storage show, which was called Who's Your Data, which is a silly name. But I said, I'm not doing it unless we call it that, because I was 26. So on that show, that's where we met, and we were running the math. I think it's 20 years ago now,
I think so, yeah.
But that was, God, I knew a ton of, we're super dating ourselves here, right? So JP was NetApp. I did a ton of Veritas stuff, but I did a lot of backup and storage and clustering and all that fun stuff. And then we had a really good friend that I'm hoping to get on the show later on, Ron Fontanilla, but he's over at Dell now, so hopefully we'll have him in on another show. But it's the next time I have you to do another podcast, it'll be in another 20 years. So it'll be perfect.
Let's do it sooner. I enjoy you.
No, I think 20 years is good. But no, it's super great to have you here, and it's hopefully everybody can hear, like, we've just known each other forever, right?
Yeah.
I think you were the first business meeting I took. Like when I joined Zscaler,
Yes.
we had lunch.
I grabbed you as soon as I found out.
No. Yeah. But no, it was good to have lunch. And Tommy, you and I actually got together later that night in Leesburg.
We did.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And nobody cares about any of this stuff. All right, let me get down to brass tacks. So Zero Trust. JP, I want to talk to you specifically, right? So we talk about Zero Trust on this podcast all the time, and we talk about how Zero Trust has become like this overarching term that has lost all meaning.
Yes.
It's like...
It's become a marketing term.
It's nothing and everything at the same time.
It's kind of become that term where, hey, you want to get a meeting? Tell them it's about Zero Trust.
Yeah.
Like it was like we're in AWS. First we started getting them like, yeah, we want to talk about cloud. And everybody tries to pivot the conversation into that.
Yeah.
But what we try to do here very specifically is no. There's an ocean of documentation. There's very granular controls. Yep. Like there's a very real thing, and there are some deadlines for DoD they need to get around, right? So trying to take this, everybody wants to talk about Zero Trust, and what are we actually talking about?
Yep.
So the way we usually come at it, and it's I'm sure the feedback at the end is going to be, hey, Tom, you're a broken record. We talk about policy decision points, and we talk about policy enforcement points. We talk about what's all the data I can pull in that I could use to figure out identity, the posture of the host, geolocation, what are all recent data access, and then how do I enforce, given people or things, access to DAS, data, applications, assets, and services.
Yep.
So I just wanted to offer it up. So you've been doing this like at a very deep level for a significant amount of time over at GuidePoint. Like what are some of the really typical things that you bring into this conversation when you're having conversations with federal customers?